Some of the most haunted houses in the world can be found in the most unexpected towns and cities around the world. Sleeping in plain sight, there are some of the most haunted houses in the world, ranging from modest suburban homesteads to castles and chateaus. In today's video, we'll look at the top 10 houses with ghostly sights and sinister legends that you won't soon forget. Before we begin, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel, so let's get this ball rolling. Number 10. Woodchester Mansion, Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire appears to be a haven for paranormal enthusiasts, with yet another old mansion from the country entering the list of most haunted houses in the UK. This mansion appears normal from the exterior, yet major rooms and entire floors are missing on the inside. Some visitors to the home claim to have been attacked by the spirits, while others claim to have slumped, and women who went to the restroom claim to have seen a floating head. Other ghostly figures have been seen, including the ghosts of an elderly woman and a young girl. Number 9. Chateau de Brissac, France. The Haunted Chateau. Chateau de Brissac is one of the most haunted houses in the world. Chateau de Brissac is located in France's Loire Valley. With 7 stories and 204 rooms, it is the tallest building in the region. La Dame Verte, popularly known as the Green Lady, was supposedly the illegitimate child of King Charles VII and was subsequently murdered by her husband in the chateau in the 15th century after he caught her having an affair. She is frequently seen in the chapel's tower room, dressed in her green gown, with gaping holes where her eyes and nose should be. She can be heard moaning around the castle when she's not startling people with her appearance. Number 8. Corvin Castle, Romania, home of Dracula. Dracula lives at Corvin Castle in Romania. This Romanian castle is without a doubt one of the most haunted places on the planet. It is best known as the home of Dracula. The castle was home to Vlad III, often known as Vlad the Impaler, the bloodthirsty ruler who inspired Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. The house is one of Europe's largest citadels. During its heyday, the castle was utilized for defense as well as a jail, where the famed Vlad the Impaler was rumored to have been imprisoned. Another darker rumor about Corvin's castle prison is that it was formerly included with a bear pit into which inmates were thrown and they were no longer usable. In the 17th century, the castle was renovated and restored to give it a more Gothic appearance. After being compelled to build a well, laboring for 15 years on the false promise of freedom inmates, they were executed. Turkish prisoners are said to have cursed the castle. After such kind of betrayal, you'd curse a castle as well. The majestic Gothic Renaissance fortress still stands today, haunted by those who died there. Number 7. Ancient Ram Inn, England, a portal to dark energy. The ancient Ram Inn is one of the world's most haunted houses. This location was constructed in 1145. It was first used by priests to house the laborers and slaves who assisted in the construction of St. Mary's Church. The spiritual energy from the neighboring Stonehenge is abundant in this region. The ancient Ram Inn is claimed to be a conduit of dark energy. The numerous supernatural sightings provide evidence of this. One of the most well-known legends surrounding this haunted English mansion is the burning at the stake of a witch. The burning occurred during the height of persecutions against anyone who did not practice government-sanctioned Christianity in the 1500s. Many think this woman's spirit still haunts one of the rooms at the ancient Ram Inn because she sought refuge there soon before being kidnapped and executed. This room is now known as the Witch's Room. Also, this allegedly haunted house is reported to have been the site of sacrifices, suicides, black magic, rituals, and criminal hideouts. According to owner John Humphreys, the mansion is home to 2 demon orbs and other paranormal activities and presences. What a beautiful spot to spend the night! Number 6. Borley Rectory, England, the Old Rectory. Borley Rectory is recognized as England's most haunted house. The Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull built Borley Rectory in 1862. It was the parish for the English settlement of Borley. By 1863, paranormal occurrences had begun. In 1940, ghost investigator Harry Price published The Most Haunted House in England, the comprehensive account of a terrifying stay at Borley Rectory. In 1939, it was severely damaged by fire and demolished in 1944. If you're not faint-hearted, the first indication of paranormal activity at the rectory were heard in the 1860s, when footsteps were heard late at night. Other ghost sightings have included a nun's ghost, 2 headless horsemen, and a phantom vehicle, as well as the phantom ringing of the servants' bells and bottle throwing. The Daily Mail has even dispatched a ghost investigator to the old mansion, and it's well known for ghostly encounters. Number 5. Hellfire Club, Ireland, the Old Hunting Lodge. Hellfire Club is one of the world's most haunted houses. The Hellfire Club was built in 1925 on Montpelier Hill in Dublin, Ireland, overlooking the city. It was originally intended as a hunting lodge for society's most wealthy and esteemed men. In reality, it was a hive of hedonism, animal sacrifice, and black masses. Many horror stories surround this destroyed lodge, but one thing is certain: this is one of the world's most haunted houses. Number 4. Myrtle's Plantation, USA, the Haunted Plantation. Myrtle's Plantation has a horrible backstory. St. Francisville, northwest of New Orleans, is the site of the historic Myrtle's Plantation. Its magnificent architecture is only broken up by the spirits who live within its walls. It's now serving as a B&B for guests who want to sleep among the spirits of forgotten soldiers, creepy youngsters, and voodoo priestesses. When you hear the phrase old Indian burial place, you know you're in for a Stephen King style haunting. According to folklore, 10 murders occurred on this historic property, not to mention the ghosts of former slaves, as well as those who have lived in the house, including the ghost of children. To top it all off, the ghost of writer William Winter, who was allegedly shot on the front porch, has been seen moaning in anguish and crawling up the steps before disappearing into the air at the 17th step. Scary. Number 3. Monte Cristo Homestead, Australia, the Haunted House Down Under. The Monte Cristo Homestead is one of the most haunted houses in the world. Monte Cristo has a reputation for being one of the most haunted houses and mansions in the world, if not all of Australia. Isn't the land down under brimming with beaches, kangaroos, and tan surfers? Oz has its fair share of ghosts and ghouls as well. This late Victorian mansion, erected in 1876 by a wealthy landowner, is said to be Australia's most haunted property. A young child who was dropped down the stairs, a maid who fell from the balcony, and a stable boy who burned to death are said to be among its ghosts. The most active, though, is a ghost of the caretaker's son who was discovered curled up close to his mother's dead body. Number 2. Amityville Horror House, USA, the Hollywood Haunted House. You've probably heard of the Amityville Horror House. On November 13, 1974, in the early morning hours of Long Island, New York, one Amityville house became more than just a suburban home. Instead, Ronald DeFeo Jr. skulked the corridors with a gun and murdered his parents and 4 of his siblings in their sleep. He later claimed that he heard voices in his brain telling him to kill, and some still believe he was hearing demonic spirits from the so-called Amityville Horror Mansion at 112 Ocean Avenue. Despite the nationally publicized 1974 murders, multiple families have moved in and out of the house, which is known now as 108 Ocean Avenue. Meanwhile, the reportedly paranormal events that occurred here have inspired a series of books and films, such as The Amityville Horror, that has kept tourists flocking to the house ever since. When the Lutz family bought the house a year later, the darkness lingered. They barely stayed for 26 days before leaving, alleging extreme, eerie happenings such as odd voices and scary presences. Number 1. Leap Castle, Ireland, Ireland's most haunted. Leap Castle is both Ireland's most haunted home and one of the most haunted places in the world. The castle was built in the late 13th century, and its horrific history began shortly after. Leap Castle has seen terrible deaths, nasty clans, and brutal wars throughout history. The first is the legend of the Red Lady, a spirit who is claimed to haunt the castle while gripping the dagger she used to end her own life. The second is a castle feature known as Oubliette. This is a secret chamber into which hundreds of individuals were thrown and left to perish. The third story is about the Bloody Chapel. One of the O'Carrolls assassinated his brother while he was giving mass here. In numerous instances, his ghost has been observed lurking in the shadows. Thank you for sticking with me until the end. Please like and subscribe to see more content like this.